Hi, I'm Pam Fox. Thank you for being here. Today I'm going to talk about allergies and asthma and how a plant-based diet has, I hesitate to use the word cure just because I still have my allergies, but gosh, they're so much better. And I just want to give my story. So I've had allergies. I was diagnosed as a very young child with allergies, allergic to animals, any animal with fur or hair. Mold, chemicals, smoke, dust. That's about it. Pollen, airborne allergies, environmental allergies. And it was, severe enough that I had to take medications and carry around a bee kit and have several inhalers handy, and couldn't go to people's houses with cats or horses or dogs. And that was just my life. I just kind of got used to it and was just kind of miserable half of the time. And in 1995, when my daughter was born, my doctor put me on a steroid inhaler for my asthma and a new nasal spray, prescription nasal spray. And I took those for several years, a couple doses in the morning, couple doses at night of each of those. And that really managed my allergies well, and I was really pleased about that because I finally had some relief of these lifelong allergies that I just learned to live with. And we're talking, sneezing and dripping and itching and swelling and redness and just, always scratching the back of my throat with my tongue and waking up in the middle of the night just itching, I would be exposed to an allergy and I would just have these sneezing fits that would last and last and last. And my allergies just really exhausted me because of the dealing with the dripping and the itching and the sneezing and the wheezing all the time, and then taking the medications on top of it, which I know they claim a lot of those allergy medications aren't drowsy, do not cause drowsiness, but I disagree. I was tired all the time. So in 1995, I started the steroid inhaler and the nasal spray, and that did help. I mean, it managed my allergies really well. I was pretty much symptom-free for the most part, unless I really got into something really dusty or went to somebody's house that has cats. Those things I couldn't do. But still, on a day-to-day basis, I was symptom-free for the most part. Well, a lot of years went by, and I started to really kind of look at these medications and ask my doctor, what are these steroid inhalers, for example, doing to me long-term? Are they safe? And of course, the doctor said, yeah, they're fine. But I did my own research and I didn't feel comfortable taking them. So I stopped taking them and back to just dealing with the allergies. I still had my fast-acting inhaler. This was a few years ago. I still was using my fast-acting inhaler. I would take a Claritin occasionally if I, had a really bad flare-up, and that would help a little bit. But for the most part, I just suffered with the allergies because I didn't want to take those medications anymore. I'd taken them for a long time, 15, close to 20 years. So, when I went plant-based almost a year ago, again, I did not do it for the reason of curing my allergies and asthma. It didn't even occur to me that might happen, but it did. I noticed within a couple of weeks that my symptoms, the regular kind of sneezing and wheezing that I dealt with on a daily basis, that hadn't been happening for a couple of days. And then one day I was doing some work in a closet that I usually have to wear a face mask when I go in there because there's a lot of things stored in there and it's dusty. And I was in there for quite a while. And I looked at my watch and I'd been in there for almost an hour, and I'd forgotten to put my face mask on because I didn't mean to stay in there that long. And I realized that I'd been in there for almost an hour and hadn't had a single sneeze or a single itch or a single drip or a wheeze or nothing. And so I got a little excited. So I thought, well, maybe it's this plant-based diet. After all, it helped me with my digestion. And so I decided to stay in there. I stayed in the closet and I kept working for a couple of hours before I sneezed once. And I could not believe it. That just does not happen for me. It doesn't happen. So my next test was, my stepdaughter was getting married and she was having a bridal shower, and I went to her bridal shower and I knew the woman that was hosting had cats. Now, I can't last in a house normally for I won't stay in a house more than 5-10 minutes tops if they have cats, because I can get severely ill. I can have an asthma attack because of my allergic reaction to cats that could put me in a hospital. I can't do it. Even if I push it and stay for, half an hour before I leave, I'll be sick for the rest of the week. I'll be miserable. And so I decided to go to the shower and test, what was happening with the healing as far as my allergies went. And I was there for 2 hours again before I sneezed, which my daughter and I couldn't believe it. It was like a miracle. It was like a miracle. I just could not believe that this could be happening just because I changed my diet. So my sister-in-law has cats. I've gone to her house several times. Again, I've been able to stay for 2 hours before I sneeze, and then I leave because I don't want to push it. But 2 hours, no medication in a house with cats, that's just unheard of for me. So obviously I'm really pleased about these results. I still have my fast-acting inhaler. I have not used it I don't even remember the last time I used it. It's probably been 10 months since I used it. And I noticed what I would do was sometimes in the evening, that's when my asthma would be the worst, and I'd be puffing on my inhaler every night. I noticed I would still have this wheezing, and instead of taking my inhaler early on in my vegan diet, I would just cough a few times and take some deep breaths, and it would pass. Like in 5 minutes, my mild asthma attack would just pass. It would just come, and then it would go just from coughing and some deep breathing. I've been taking a steroid inhaler for 20 years, and all I had to do was change my diet and cough a few times and do some deep breathing, and it's just, yeah. So I just wanted to make this video for anyone out there that suffers from allergies and asthma, just to encourage you to consider trying a plant-based diet. And I know so many people hear the word vegan or hear the word plant-based and think, well, I'm not even going to consider going on a diet like that because I know I'll fail. Why would I even try something that I know I'm going to fail at? And you're probably in the majority of people who think that way, that respond that way to the word veganism. Because after all, most of us have been on diets before, and we do fail because they take so much willpower. And that is the wonderful thing about veganism. If you're doing it right, if you're on a high-carb, low-fat, vegan, plant-based diet, and you're eating, and you're not calorie restricting. This is a diet or a lifestyle of abundance. There is no calorie restricting. There is no meal skipping. It is eating till you are satiated. And there are times when I'm so thrilled with the feeling of satiation, not because I was starving myself necessarily before, but because when you fill up on standard American foods, like let's just do cheeseburger and French fries, for example, and you eat until you're stuffed, and then you eat a little bit more because it's so good. You know that feeling you have, just like, oh, I ate too much, and you feel kind of sick, and you're tired, and you don't really want to do anything. That doesn't happen on a plant-based diet. You can feel full and satiated and feel like you ate too much, but it's this sensation that I can only describe as feeling like you're kind of high on drugs or something, because this very pleasant feeling of being satiated overcomes me, and it just feels really good. And that's what it's like on this diet. Every time I eat until I'm full. There's no guilt. There's no questioning whether or not, I ate too much that meal or whatever. It's when your caloric needs are met, your nutrient needs are met, and you no longer have cravings. And that's the great thing about veganism, is you eat till satiation, and you don't. I used to be a huge sugar craver. I would keep cookies and candies stuffed everywhere at work, and I'd start to crave sugar, and I gotta have it. I don't drink any coffee. I don't take any stimulants. I have tons of energy. It's from the food, guys. It's from the food. I'm healing. I feel just vitality and energy. So if you have allergies and asthma, or if your kids have allergies and asthma, don't be scared of veganism like it's something you're going to set yourself up for failure. It's not that hard. And once you find some recipes you like, and you pick a diet and you stick to it, and you're eating till satiation, and there's no calorie restricting, for me, that's what I did. I experienced healing. I experienced some weight loss. I experienced energy. It's wonderful. It's so wonderful. So of course, I just, I know there's so many people out there that suffer with illness. There's a long list of illnesses that people suffer with. And if you go and you watch Dr. John McDougall, he refers to illness as food poisoning. He refers to most all illness as food poisoning. And when you first hear him talk, you think, well, that's a little harsh. Food poisoning. All illness is food poisoning. But when you listen to him talk, it makes sense that all illness, or nearly all illness, is really just food poisoning. You're putting in animal foods that the body doesn't necessarily know what to do with. You're putting in junk foods filled with, processed foods, chemicals. The body doesn't know what to do with those. Does the best it can. Or you can put in plant foods. Isn't it funny? It's almost as if the human body was designed to consume plant foods, and it's almost as if plant foods were designed to fuel the human body. And I am being sarcastic, but it's just a wonderful symbiotic relationship that we have, and we need them, and they're just provided for us. This planet just provides these plants for us that prevent and fight disease, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, you name it, allergies and asthma. And so we need to stop putting the junk foods and the animal foods into our body, and remember that everything that we need is in plants. You've got your carbohydrates, you've got your fats, you've got your proteins in plants, you've got your phytonutrients, you've got your enzymes, you've got your minerals, your vitamins, your water, your fiber. It's all in there. Everything we need is in there. And if you find some foods that you really enjoy, you'll never feel like you're missing out. I don't feel like I'm missing out. I really don't. Yes, there are times where I'll look at food and think, oh, that used to be one of my favorite foods, and that looks really good. And if I ate that right now, it'd be very enjoyable. That does happen, but I just tell myself that the food I'm eating is extremely enjoyable, and it's fueling me, it's healing me, it's energizing me, and it's not making me sick. Foods either fatten us, they sicken us, they fuel us, or they heal us. So if you're putting foods into your body that fatten you and sicken you, you have a choice. You don't have to be doing that. So you can do it, guys. It's not that hard. You got to educate yourself. You got to get a plan together, and then you just start doing it. For me, it took me about a year to get up the courage to start. I know vegans that went vegan overnight, and they were able to successfully do it. You do need to know what you're doing, because as soon as you get hungry, you're going to be tempted to eat the foods that you're eating now. As soon as you go to a party unprepared, you're going to be tempted to eat whatever is put before you. As soon as you go to a restaurant and you're not sure how to order at a restaurant because you haven't done your homework, you're just going to order whatever because you're hungry. When we fail at diets, it's not because we have terrible willpower. It's because we're hungry. Our bodies are hungry. They have needs. They have caloric needs that must be met. And so when we meet those needs, there's no craving. There's no more cravings. That's something that happened to me on day one of starting this diet, and I couldn't believe it. I was satiated. I looked at those foods that I knew I shouldn't be eating, that weren't approved of on my diet, and I didn't want them or need them. They still looked good, and it took time for me to really get to the point where I could really look at that food and go, I don't need it, I don't want it, and if I did eat it, it'd be really, really bad for me, and I'm trying to promote healing within my body. So that's enough of that. Thank you so much for being here, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. All right, we'll see you next time.